This is question 8 on the Mod 1 November 2008 Foundation paper. We've got a table showing the percentage daily intake of different food types. And we've got to complete the table. We've got 3 different types of food: carbohydrate, protein and other. We've got their percentages here: carbohydrate 50%, protein 10%. We've got a missing number here. Percentages always have to add up to 100%. So we've got here 50 and 10, they add up to 60%. So we've got to get up from 60 to 100. That's a missing 40%. And we can write that in there. That will get you the first mark. The next thing you've got to do is work out the angles in a pie chart. Now the key thing to remember, a complete pie chart is 360 degrees. That is how many degrees there are in a full circle. Carbohydrate is 50%. 50% is the same as a half. So a half of these will go here. So you've got to work out half of 360. So you've got to do 360 divided by 2. It's a non-calculator paper, and if you need to do the sum, you can't do it in your head, you can do the sum. 2 into 3 goes once, remainder 1. 2 into 16 goes 8 times, 2 into nothing, nothing. So it's 180 degrees. That is the number that goes up here. Next, you've got to do something for the 10% number. Protein is 10%. So in here, you've got to do 10% of 360. To get 10% of something, you just knock the noughts off the end. So that's nice and easy. That's going to be 36 degrees. 40%, well, it's 4 lots of that. So I need to do 36 times by 4. Again, if you can't do it in your head, either do it at times, or you could do it as an adding up. Doesn't matter which way you do it. But if you add them up or do the times, you'll get 144. And that is the missing angle that needs to go in there. Now in this question, there's 1 mark for the 40%, 1 mark for the 180 degrees, and another mark if both of those were correct. We've now got to put that on a pie chart, and this is a fully labelled pie chart. So first thing we've got to do is measure 180 degrees. Here's your pie chart. It started for you. Put your protractor down. The middle part of the protractor must be over that dot, and the nought on the protractor over that line. So the protractor will go like that. That will be lined up. And 180 degrees is all the way around down to the bottom. So I'm marking that off down at the bottom and joining that up. And that section is going to be the carbohydrates. So we can put a C in there for carbohydrates. Now, the next one to do, the protein, is 36 degrees. So we come to here, we put the middle bit of the protractor over there again, but our noughts has now got to be down here on the last line we drew. The protractor will be like this, nought down here, that over the middle. And we've got to come round here to 36. So there's 30, there's 40, here's 35. When I zoom in, we need to get this really accurate. We've got 30, 35, 36 is about there. So take your protractor away and join that up. And that is the protein section. So in there I need to put a P. The other section is going to be other. I'll put an O in. And it should be 144 degrees. And I can check that. I can put my protractor in the right place, line up the nought down here, where my finger's at the bottom, come around 144. That should be, you know then you've got that correct. So there's your pie chart, and you've got it labelled up. On the next page, it carries on into 8 part B. It says, Josh knows his daily intake of protein is 90 grams. So let's go back to our table a minute. Josh knows that the protein here is 90 grams. We've got to find his carbohydrate. Let's have a look a minute. Carbohydrate is 50%, protein is 10%. So Josh has 5 times as much protein. Sorry, I'll say that again. Josh has 5 times as much carbohydrate as he does protein. So to work this number out here, I've got to do the 90 times by 5. Because the carbohydrate number is 5 times as much. So my working out will be 90 times by 5. So 9 5s are 45. 90 times by 5, an extra naught, will be 450. The answer there, 450 grams.